Trust Shelter Zimbabwe to help you find your perfect home.
Contact details are shelter.co.zw
and on Facebook at shelter_sim.
Sounds on Saturday.
Hi, this is Fungai Masango. I remember Joseph Madimba, the newsreader at ZPC, during my days on Radio 3. And he was an excellent newsreader. Sheer perfection. He was just perfect. But personally, I remember him as my friend. And he often used to give me relationship advice, which I never took. I was young, what can I say? And looking back on those days, I think he gave me some really good advice, which I started taking when I was older. But I'll always remember him as the friendly face of the man who read the news, Joseph Madimba. I shall miss you forever.
Here's legendary newscaster Ruben Barry.
Yes, Brother John. We had a very good time with you guys when you were behind the mic. That is the time you and others like Joseph Madimba were broadcasting. We called that the glorious moment when ZBC did broadcast soon after the departure of the former broadcasters. And Joseph was one of those voices that boomed across the length and breadth of Zimbabwe. You are talking of Temba Howe, Joseph Madimba, Shingrai Tungwarara. You are talking of Nerine Welsh, Colin Harvey, Tsitsi Vera. These are some of the people who did broadcast during that time. And you, the boss, you were on radio, and everybody loved it. The departure of Joseph Madimba really was a sad moment. I hear he was buried in Okahanja, some 60 kilometers away north of Windhoek in Namibia. And to your listeners across the globe, this is a very sad moment that we are losing some of our illustrious broadcasters. We lost Tungwarara, we lost Godfrey Majonga, we lost Anan Maruta, Chris Somo, and many others have passed on. May their souls rest in peace. Let's be assured that that voice of the boss continues booming across the globe. Thank you very much.
Kind words, Ruben. Very kind words. Modesty forbids me to say a word, not a single one. So I have to make them double then at the very least. Thank you. You know, in my world, hero makers are greater than heroes. And for portraying simple me as one, more power to your elbow, Ruben Barwe.
Power to all our friends, to the music that never ends, to the people we want to be. Baby, power to you and me.
There's one old man, spends his life growing flowers, caring for the bees. Power to the bees. There's one old lady, spent her days making wine. The wine tasted fine. Power to the vine. Power to the boys that played rock and roll, that made my life so sweet. And to the girls I knew before, those I've yet to meet. Power to all our friends, to the music that never ends, to the people we want to be. Baby, power to you and me. There's one strong man plowing in the valley. He's living off the land. Power to the land. There's some young girl laying down in Monte Carlo, laying in the sun. Power to the sun. Power to the boys that played rock and roll and made my life so
Sounds on Saturday.
Dubbed the eternal teenager of pop music, Cliff Richard, power to all our friends and to the people we want to be. Hear, hear. But while we are busy chasing our dreams, Beatle John Lennon once said, life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. But we're only human. Our pursuit must carry on while we do what we love, whatever makes us happy. Speaking of which, where do you stand on this? A few thoughts for you. Is happiness a state of mind, or is happiness a result of circumstance? I, for one, believe there is no path to happiness, for happiness is the path. So whatever melts your butter, do that. But don't forget to make friends along the way.
I hope the day will be a lighter highway for friends I found on every road. Can you ever think of any better way for the lost and weary travelers to go? Seems to me a crime that we should hate. These fragile times should never slip us by. A time you never can or shall erase. As friends together watch their childhood fly.
Sounds on Saturday.
Elton John, beseeching us all to make friends from an old movie called Friends, the title track.
With John the Boss on Saturday.
When it comes to saying goodbye, we want to ensure that our loved ones are remembered with dignity and respect. Etosha Memorial Park, part of the Shelter Incorporated Group, offers a range of memorial options including state-of-the-art crypts and beautifully designed memorials. Our park provides a peaceful and serene atmosphere where families can come to reflect and remember. Trust Etosha Memorial Park to help you honor your loved ones with the respect and care they deserve.
Contact details are etoshagardens.co.zw
And on Facebook at Etosha Gardens.
Sounds on Saturday.
Sounds on Saturday continues its tribute to our departed pal, Joe Madimba.
My name is Felix Edanyompariwa Nganjo Mutemi. As I say farewell to Joseph Brian Madimba, I knew him before he knew me, and when he knew me, I didn't know he did. I first encountered Joseph Madimba on TV long before I joined the ZBC. He was already a legend, that booming, commanding voice that became a fixture in many Zimbabwean homes. Later, when I joined ZBC and became hosting radio shows, I had no idea that he was listening to my shows. Our paths finally crossed when he came to read the news during one of my Radio 3 shifts. The excitement and adrenaline I felt were unforgettable. The Joseph Madimba, the legend, reading the news on my show. I was proud to tell my friends and family to tune in because Joseph Madimba was reading the news on my program. We eventually discovered we lived in the same neighborhood of Mebrine in Harare. That's where our friendship truly began. Joseph was a heart of knowledge, a wellspring of wisdom in both academic and political spheres. His voice, both literally and intellectually, was unparalleled. I'll miss his voice, his wisdom, and mentorship. Go well, Joseph Brian Madimba, the gold standard of newsreaders at ZBC, a true son of the African soil.
Sounds on Saturday.
Hello, everybody. I am Joe Madimba. I'm deeply saddened by the passing on of Peter Jones. My condolences to the family. I worked with Peter at the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, Pockets Hill Center. I must say that Peter was a master of the radio, a role model who commanded the respect of colleagues and society at large. Peter Jones was the quintessential DJ with the gift of the gab and amazing knowledge of music genres. Death has robbed Zimbabwe of an icon. Fare thee well, Peter. We shall meet again when this earthly life has put on immortality and imperishability. May your soul rest in eternal peace.
Hi, this is Mark J, son of PJ, the radio driver. I'm here with John the Boss, and you're listening to The Sounds on Saturday.
Road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they picked, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh.
That your elders grew by, and so please help them with your youth. They see the truth before they can die.
Teach your parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams.